Hello and welcome to this week's episode of ICP Does Not Define Me, where we focus less on this and more on the ability of what we can do. Join us each and every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, live on the Disability Global Broadcast, Facebook Live, and LetGoRadio.net. Looking forward to seeing you there. What's up, everybody? It's D to the J with a roll away, and unfortunately, it's 7:12 and 13 seconds, and I'm a little bit late, but that is okay. I'm here. Everything is good. All the planets are in alignment, and luckily, I'm still in my chair, so I haven't fallen on the floor and severely went the wrong way. So gravity is not working to my disposition. But today is a very special day because I have wanted to have this young lady on the show for a very long time. And we have tried to come together for the date. We had to reschedule. And I was like, okay, we can reschedule. And then we rescheduled it. And I had to reschedule. And it was like, all right, we're going to get it this time. And then I'm 12 minutes late going, oh, God, I have a show to do. So welcome, everybody. As you come into the show, we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and I don't even know what to call Twitter anymore. I guess it's X now because they took away the bird. I don't know. The bird went flew away. So we have Kayla Ireland on the show today, and I am just enthralled because this young lady is smart and unique and full of life and has an excellent story. So, Kayla, if you will, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. Now, we're going to give Kayla some time because she has to type out her answers with each question, and most of them she's got typed out, but we're also going to throw some questions in there, so we'll give a little bit of time in between. Would you do us a favor and just tell us a little bit about yourself so we have the pleasure of meeting you?
I have spastic quadriplegia, cerebral palsy, and epilepsy. Cerebral palsy affects all my motor skills, so I need physical help doing everything. I am a power wheelchair user. However, I can take some independent steps and small transfers, like from my bed to wheelchair or my wheelchair to the couch. I use an adaptive joystick to operate my laptop. In addition to having to be fed, I have a swallowing disorder. My mealtimes are complicated because I have to take small bites and sips, make sure that food is on my teeth and not stuck on the roof of my mouth.
Wow. Even in that little versatile bit, there's so much stuff I want to go into now. It's like, oh, I'm gonna let her share a little bit more, and we'll go into it.
In the fall of 2017, I began my college journey. As of July 1st, all 12 community colleges are combined, so since this past fall, I've been one of the many students with disabilities who want to formally become a student disability council. However, we don't know what we have to do to work towards being recognized until all the rules are laid out.
All right. Well, let me go back now. There's a lot in those two paragraphs right there, and I mean that's a show by itself. Now, to kind of go back a little bit, I can relate to the small transfers because I'm able to walk a little bit when I'm not too lazy to get up off my butt and to do it. But I can also transfer. Now, transfers are harder for me because I have to sit on something high. I can't sit on something low. So to kind of ask a question without too much typing involved or wordage construction, I guess I would say. Ha- do you have to use like special chairs to transfer into, or is it do you prefer? Okay, so you actually don't have to. I I can't sit on anything low because when I sit low, I'm like a little lobster that kind of goes like this, and it doesn't work for me. Now the and people, a lot of people don't realize with cerebral palsy, the throat and the tongue is a muscle. So what she was talking about with having to eat slowly and take small bites and small sips with spastic cerebral palsy, it's everything that is muscle related CP can affect. So, I mean, in that situation, I don't have to deal with the eating too fast or smaller bites, but that has got to be, I don't know, would you consider that annoying, or is it like you've gotten used to it because you've had to do it for so long?
Adjustable bed is my favorite.
I have one of those too. I love that thing. I Because it actually assists me. The only thing with the adjustable bed though is mine goes up, but if I slide down in my sleep and I don't know why. You too. um, Want to welcome everybody to the show while Kayla's typing. This is so cool. Hi Tony, how are you? Hey Crystal, thanks for being here. Hey Matthew. This is so awesome. I love this already. And we're only 7 minutes into it. Oh yeah, our bed massages, which is we had to pay. That thing was expensive. I don't know them adjustable beds, man. They $2,500. You like whew, close to 3 grand. I'm like, I don't want to pay 3 grand for a bed, and it happened.
I slide down sitting up.
I have. Oh, I hate that. And you think you're at the perfect position, and then you slide over and you got to put the bed back down and do it again. And see, I can relate to that. But I do. I also have a grab bar above my bed too. I tied I tied a rope. Well, my buddy Steve tied a rope from one end of the room to the other end of the room, and we put a piece of PCP pipe up there. So when I pull the head all the way up, I I basically hold on to that so I don't fall over and have to do the whole process again. This is so cool. Matthew said, I slide down sitting up too, even in regular chairs. Man, yeah.
I push on my feet.
Now, see, you've actually got a little bit of an advantage there. I can push on my feet, but when I push directly on my feet slide, especially if I had socks on. I look like a little slug going one way this way and one way that way. I think I actually go to bed without socks on so that my feet can connect to the floor, and actually on carpet it's better for us. Oh, Tony says I sleep in a parallel position between the head wait a minute, between the head and foot of the bed so that I can move. I make a nest out of my adjustable bed. All right, I'm not gonna go with the bird nest, but we just gonna I get that one too, Tony. You got to do what you got to do. Got to make it work for you.
I walk better without socks.
Me too. Me too. It's amazing of the similarities, even in talking just like this. You find that some CP has differences, and some CP um, has a lot of similarities. When you are eating, are you trying to find foods that work better? I'm sorry. One more time.
Deep dive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I actually, And that's the funny part. That's how I get into bed. I have to
No.
hold on. I misinterpreted something somewhere. We'll figure it out. I'm gonna just wait for it to come up.
Deep dive into CP.
Oh, thank you. Okay, for the clip. See, I like that little thing. That little. I think most people don't realize the intricacies of how much CP can affect one person. And like, you don't think about breathing. You don't think about saliva getting caught down in the, and you wondering, especially when I'm asleep with my mouth open and I'm snoring, sounding like a buzzsaw somewhere. But it does affect people differently.
When you choke on your own saliva?
Yeah. And you're talking, and all of a sudden it goes down the wrong way, and you start coughing, and then somebody looks at you like, "Are you okay? Do I look like I'm all right?" I mean,
Drilling.
you know what? I hate that. I did not. I drool more now. I think I'm part Saint Bernard. That's what messes me up, man. Because I have an English bulldog, and I get mad at her for drooling, but her little face. I mean, I'm glad my lips don't sag down because I can no. I guess I'm talking, and all of a sudden, you suck it back up, and it's like, man, I get it. Matthew says, me too, but I drag my toes too much. That's another. That's why I walk with shoes on. I'm because the last time I walked was like 10 years ago, but I ain't gonna go down that road. That's a whole nother. So
My toes grip.
now, see, I mine will right. I get exactly what you're saying. Mine will, but it depends on the type of shoe that I wear. Like, I mean, not like Spider Man, but like it's hard. It's hard to explain.
They curl up.
Right, because
Mine doesn't.
Kim is a toe walker, and she has that inflection where she go, but she can also concentrate now and put her foot down. Let's see, water shoes with rubber grips are my favorite. I, I've had those too, Tony, especially at the bottom of the pool or either socks. See, this right here, we getting into the CP subjects. I ain't talked in a while. At least I made Kayla laugh or smile. I like that.
I love her voice.
I know that's why when I was first on Kayla's show while she's typing, I signed to her and she did not. I don't know if she didn't know that I signed or I don't sign a lot, but I do know enough.
Use water shoes not to get blisters.
That's a great point because they're easy to take on and take off. I can see why people will use them constantly. Have you tried what are they? We just got a pair of them the other day. The cloud shoes, like they're puffy and they're actually Kim got a pair of them and they look like this, which are they're really puffy, but
they're super comfortable.
Super comfortable. Yep. So I don't know if and she's typing, so we'll let her answer that. Hi, Betsy. How are you? Thank you for tuning into the show. Guys, we appreciate you being so patient and commenting, and this is awesome. This is so awesome. Take your time. Valuable nuggets of information. Thank you. Minimal shoes.
That won't work for me because it doesn't have a back.
See, you have the same problem I had. I used to want to wear flip flops, but I would slide out of them like, yep.
That's why I only could use them when I use the scooter, so
Mm.
I don't stand.
Yep, I get that. Man, I tell you, I always used to have to get shoes 2 sizes too big because when I used to wear my braces, like I looked like I would wear the boxes instead of the shoes, which is, then I had an excuse for drop kicking people, but not that I did that. But so you talking about a little bit about your college journey. You are obviously, just
Amazing.
amazingly talented with the CP that you have and the problems that you deal with. I mean, I'm amazed just sitting here talking because it's already 16 minutes of the show and people are going, this is awesome, because you get these little nuggets of information that people don't know about where we're breaking down CP in a whole nother universe almost because there are so many minute pieces to cerebral palsy. Matthew says he hates that he can't wear flip flops. I love the sound they make. I don't know if that's weird, but I love the sound they make. That's why I want to wear them. Oh, Kayla's got something exciting now. She's typing hard, so we're gonna let this one finish out.
Everything we are talking about is the details people don't think of.
That's true.
That's 100% true. Even having CP, sometimes I'm taken back, and I don't like saying this phrase, and how you ever heard somebody say, "You're so lucky, you're so lucky," because there's always someone worse off than you. I don't look at it like that. I look at we're all dealt a hand. Okay, we can choose to play the hand we have, or we can fold and curl up in a ball and go, life's not going to work for me. You don't do that, and I love that because but that's not even on your mind. You're like, screw that. I've got the life I've got. I'm going to go for it, and I love that. I think that's. I haven't even gotten to question two. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Trial and error.
True.
But that's life. See, and that's where it's funny. I haven't even gotten to question 2 yet, and we're still covering the basis of how to figure stuff out because it is trial and error. You have to learn, okay, I got to transfer from here to here. I can't reach this, but can I grab a hold of the cushion and turn around? Okay, well, how do I move my feet? Okay, well, is my chair in the way? Is it back far enough? And it's all about figuring out what works for you. And someone may look at you and go, "Can I help you?" Can you just let me figure it out on my own, please? Stay over there. Go ahead and cheer. Get your pom poms out. That's what you want to do. And I don't mind cheerleading. Sometimes I throw stuff at them though because they get annoyed. I don't throw stuff at people really unless it's rocks and people I don't like. I'm just saying, not live, but I don't know. I think it is trial and error. I think I think if people slow down and look at CP not as this big thing that they can't figure out, but as pieces of a puzzle that each person has to put together for their own journey, I get that. Matthew says, I feel the same way. People be like, you're amazing with everything you have. And I'm like, nah, I just play the hand I was dealt and adjust.
It changes.
One more time.
Changes.
And it changes.
It does on a daily basis
Mm.
because sometimes your foot's going to work. Sometimes your heel's going to pick up. Sometimes your pant leg's going to get caught when you try to get dressed, and it's going to take you 20 minutes to figure out how to point your toes down so you can get the pant leg through. And sometimes you choke.
Mm.
I'm hungry.
Exactly. Every puzzle is different. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
100% right. Every puzzle is different. You can have the same disability. You can have the same title, same type, but each piece to every puzzle is different. Sock takes me 15 minutes some days. Shoot, me when I used to put them on by myself, that was like 30 minutes right there.
My
Socks.
elbow was more rigid Monday when I horseback ride.
All right, now see now you said the magic word right there. That was my therapy when I was little. From the time I was 6 years old to the time I was 12, I was in a therapeutic riding program in North Carolina, and I every Saturday we would go up and I would ride and you'd them up. Well, when I first got on that horse, and if you don't stretch them abductor muscles, I'll be talking like this. But I stretched, and it makes it easier when you're stretched out and when you're limber and you can move. So I understand that. How did you? Let's ask this since we are kind of going in that direction. Um, how did you? What made you get into riding, and how has therapeutic riding helped you with cerebral palsy?
My birth to 3 team recommended hippotherapy. At 3 years old, I began therapeutic riding at a local professional association of therapeutic horsemanship certified center. Riding is still the most beneficial, rewarding, and adventurous activity I participate in. Now that I am an adult, I am active on many committees for this organization, mostly related to fundraising and communication. I have helped with public relations over the internet and in person. I have spent many hours helping plan events, obtaining event sponsorships, applying for grants for the organization, and being interviewed by the media.
Okay, that statement right there, my brain just went because that see riding for me was an escape to get away from when you're up there on horseback. You're like everybody else because you're up there and you got this big animal underneath you, and if you don't control this big animal underneath you, one or two things are gonna happen. Either the animal gonna control you and you're gonna go flying, or he's gonna run really fast and you're gonna learn really quick how to do it. But at 3 years old though, woo! I don't know. At three, I was barely working. I mean, I knew what a horse was, and I probably would have liked it, but no, I weren't riding at three. I started riding at six. But we'll see what else Kayla's got for us.
My birth to 3 team recommended hippotherapy. The freedom that riding gives me is that my equine partner replaces my wheelchair, walker, and leg braces with her movements and magic. I'm actually told to never wear my leg braces, so my legs can feel all the input.
Whoa.
For example, I start every single ride with my feet out of the stirrups so my hamstrings can be stretched even more due to my high muscle tone.
Oh my God, I can so relate to everything you just said. When you said that, that's why I went, whoa, because I had a flashback. They told me to take my feet out of the stirrups. And I'm like, because I felt like I was going to fall. But when the horse walks and you feel each step, it literally stretches your entire body and you're able to, and they're like, lean forward. I'm like, I don't want to lean forward. And she goes, just lean forward and hug the horse. So I did. And the horse is walking and it's, stretching at the same time. I totally can relate, man, to everything you just said. Oh my gosh, that is
I'm
so.
it. Don't put them in.
I, I remember that because I'm going, I'm not falling off this thing. Because they started me with two sidewalkers on each side. And I was like, why y'all holding me for? And then the horse picked up speed. I'm like, oh, that's why. So, hey Faith, how are you? I'll tell you,
I'm independent now.
so you don't ride with a sidewalker at all. Oh, I didn't even get to that point. Okay, let me rephrase it. I did, but I didn't because I had to go through the obstacle course, where they put the post on the floor and then she's like, trot through it. I'm like, like, but see that after I stretched, I felt more secure with my feet in the stirrups. I, I, and I rode English a lot of time instead of Western because I like to grab onto that horn like he was a knob of life and not let go. I mean, that was my man. I can relate to so much of this. This is so cool. Oh my gosh, how are we 30 minutes into the show already? Great day. This time goes by fast.
This is an amazing.
Once I start steering.
That's when you okay. I can. I remember they told me when I was young, don't pull on the reins like they're an emergency brake because the horse will let you know. But my horse, I had Snoopy. He was all white and he was one of these easygoing horses. But then they put me on a horse that was like this thoroughbred champion, and she wanted to run, and I'm like, why are we going so fast? Can we tilt it back a little bit? Man. This is so cool.
It is.
That's all right, Faith. No problem at all. No problem at all. We're glad to have you.
I was Lucy's first independent rider once I got there.
I can remember the first time I rode independently, the sense of freedom that it gave me until I realized no matter I had the feeling of yes, you're in control, but no matter what happens, that horse is underneath you. And if she wants to go, she's gonna go. And that's what got me. I could never canter because the bump in the saddle, to bump in the saddle like that, I couldn't stay straight. Like I would slide. And I don't know if it was because I didn't have the inner thigh strength to hold on, or but it was really, really different for me, especially with trot.
Explain my body more.
Say that one more time because I want them to hear that.
It makes me know my body more.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. One of the funnest things I did, and I loved it, was to play dead man across the horse. They would lay me across the saddle and have the horse walk while I was laying across the saddle. Well, my horse trainer said, "I'm going to have her trot while you're." I said, "No, you're not. You not gonna." And she did, and it felt really good. I was able to stretch out my back and all parts of my body doing that. I could talk about horseback riding all day. That's I miss it
I
too.
don't do anything except walk independently.
Hmm. Hold on, I want to hear the rest of that because I know there's more to it. I don't do anything except walk independently.
I have to turn this one.
Hmm.
No trotting independent.
I see what you mean now. When you said that, I'm like, what? My brain went to a whole nother. Okay, okay. So, have you thought about? I mean, is that something that you want to get to where you can trot and things like that? No problem, Thomas. Glad to have you, buddy.
My focus is dressage.
Okay. Can you elaborate on that a little bit as far as what as that last word that the that she spoke? I didn't catch.
After.
So Kayla's going to expand on the statement that she talked about. I couldn't quite
Years
catch.
transition to the elite discipline of paradressage. It is when the horse and rider perform a test in a 20-meter by 60-meter arena that is written from memory and follows a prescribed pattern of movements. Besides giving me the therapeutic benefits of riding, this challenges me to learn dressage vocabulary and patterns as well as autonomy as I control an equine on my own off lead.
Whoa! All right, see, that's a whole nother man. Every question she answers, I could do a show on by itself because that right there is you're talking about, especially with the patterns. You're talking about one, a sense of direction, knowing where you're going, knowing where your horse is going, how to lead your horse the right way, and being off lead. Having somebody lead and walk you is totally different than you, uh, quote unquote, riding the horse by yourself.
Wow,
One more time.
I didn't type that long.
No, I understood exactly what you meant. That's and see, what I like about this is I've never had a person that's I've always okay several, and I don't like saying this word either. Nonverbal individuals have asked me.
Copy and paste.
I meant to several people have asked me that are nonverbal to be on the show. What I like about this with Kayla is we're learning in a way. I have to. I want to communicate at her pace, but she also is communicating with me, and we're learning. We have to learn each other's style. It's this is another part of CP all by itself. Going back into the intricacies, the ink, can't even say the words now. Oh gosh, the word just escaped me. She knows it. I know she knows the word I'm talking about.
Type that. Copy and paste.
I think it's there it is, intricacies, but it's so different to be able to it brings out a whole other world really, and that in itself. See my horse shows were different, but they were also in the ring. There was things that I had to do in that round circular arena that you're talking about. It it brings back the memory of okay, do you know what you're doing? Okay, you have an obstacle coming up. Do you know how to get around this obstacle? Are your legs positioned right? You know, I can see where the challenge is because your sense of when you're about to do that, your sense of direction can't be everywhere. You have to be so focused on what you're doing. That's awesome. Hi Angie, welcome to the show. Yes, I went to school with someone that used a pointing board to talk. I've dealt with several. A lot of my friends that were at Camp Eastersill, some of them were nonverbal and they used boards and communication devices. But I've done a show with Kayla before and loved it, and she's been wanting to be on the show for a while. And I said, you know what, I'm going to do this, and I'm just going to let the show go as it goes, because I'm the type of person I I I like to have things in place, but it makes me slow down because I'm like, all right, let her answer that first. Now,
Horseback riding directly works on CP.
I think it works on CP, but I think it also lessens the problems of disability because you have so much more freedom in your own therapeutic riding style, if that makes any sense at all.
Riding horses helps me with everything.
Mm-hmm.
The science behind a riding lesson is complex. As a horse walks, its hips rotate in the same way a human's hips do. The muscles in the rider's hips are massaged throughout the lesson. For a person who is unable to walk, the experience of riding a horse gives the same sensation as actually walking. For someone like me, who needs assistance to walk and is confined to a wheelchair for most of the day, riding reduces my high muscle tone and improves my balance, posture, gait, and stability. Horseback riding stretches my muscles and reduces my spasticity. This allows my movements to be softer, quieter, and more accurate. As the horse moves, I am constantly thrown off balance, requiring my muscles to contract and relax in an attempt to rebalance. Riding requires me to coordinate numerous muscle groups to work together to get the horse to start, stop, turn, and bend in the direction we are traveling. And the horse provides constant feedback for me to react to, which in turn improves my motor planning. Stopping and starting the horse, Changing speed and changing direction engage my core muscles. Increased core muscle strength directly impacts posture, head and trunk stability, which allows me to be as independent as possible.
Wow.
All these benefits help me physically and emotionally get through the day and week and reduce the constant tug-of-war I have with my own body. This makes participating in daily activities exponentially easier for me.
You know, you explained so much in those last few statements. I never knew in the detail that you. I mean, as long as I had ridden, I never knew the detail of what you just explained. But I can go back and close my eyes and feel what you're talking about with each movement of the horse, because the legs underneath you are representing what your legs are going to do. So you've got to learn to tighten when the horse tightens. You relax when the horse relaxes. It's a spontaneous reaction between both parties, and I know horses can sense that too. I mean, as far as just the more you ride them, the more you become familiar with how they feel underneath you, with how they move and how you move. That's wow. This show just exploded. Okay. Whoa. This show just exploded. Wow.
Relaxing is tricky part of CP.
Yes.
I and that's
Yes.
I can say that's a universal statement across the board. Because even for me, going back to, we talked about martial arts a little bit when I was on your show, breathing helps relax. And when you are not, the more you're tense, the more your body is tight, the harder it is to relax. So I can remember once I was used to the rhythm of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, your body starts to go, okay, now I know how this feels. Now I know what this is. Now I know I'm not going to fall. Now I can relate to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you start to see your body doing the same thing. It's that sudden turn to the right, and your body goes, oh God, now what do I do? You're trying to figure it out. This is, wow. This show right here.
Make sensory or no part of CP by talking about it.
I agree. I agree. When you're able to break it down at this level, when you're able to, and the funny thing is, and I'm gonna say this out loud, it takes a person that is technically nonverbal to verbalize everything, and me to go, all right, let me rechange my thinking here, because this is a completely different spectrum than any show I've ever done. And it's not that it's wrong or I'm not doing it the right way, but I don't know. I almost at a loss for words at how well Kayla can explain and get her thoughts out on paper, and I can verbalize it, and I'm going, how did I miss that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Does it make sense?
When I say I'm nonverbal, people should understand that I primarily use nonverbal communication. I fingerspell, verbalize some letters and words, and use body language. I could certainly teach a course all about the nonverbal ways people communicate.
You communicate with your eyes too. And the eyes, for a female, eyes tell everything. I had to learn that the hard way. This is a cool
I
comment.
use any form of communication.
Mhm.
If my shirt has lettering on it, I'll point to those letters to communicate.
That's a smart way of doing things.
But see, what I'm saying is, Kayla has, to me, in doing two shows together. Now this is our second show together. She's closed the restriction of, God, I can verbalize the words and I can't say them right. She's closed the restriction of communication better than I'm communicating. And it's not even that it's better. It's just, I don't know the right word for it. I can't. Like, I guess you're able to communicate in so many ways that it kind of strengthens everything else. When you lose one sense, the others pick up the pick. Yeah, girl, I'm gonna tell you, we're gonna have a series, and I can see it now. Cause I think we got to question 3. I'm not even sure yet. It's still question 1.
Question
It's
zero.
question 0. Oh man.
This is a fun show. That's all I'm saying. Very interesting show.
And sometimes, oh, that's a good point. And sometimes the bigger movements are more scary. But when adapting cones in, yeah, that's now walking through cones. That's you start adding obstacles on the floor, and again, that's what Kayla was talking about. It throws your body off. You have to get used to the pebbles on the ground, the poles that you're walking over, because when their leg lifts, your hip's going to go up, and you got to know how to keep yourself straight in the saddle. And sitting in a saddle is not a common thing. That's, you're not sitting in a chair. I mean, boy, man, going back memories now. Whew. I remember getting off the horse feeling like my legs turned into jelly because they've been stretched so long. And then you hit the floor and your legs are like gooberish because they can't freaking operate right. And you're trying to get in your chair and I'm going, oh, I can't feel my legs. Okay, I'm fine. Moving those little muscles I didn't know I could. That exactly. From a martial arts standpoint, I know right where you're coming from.
I sit better on a horse than something else.
I love that. I've been sitting for 41 years, and I can tell you, when you sit on a horse, it's totally different. You got to learn all over again, and the muscle memory is involved a lot with CP, because when you get dressed, you have to do it the same way. A lot of times, you can't get dressed different. People don't think about, I got to pick my right leg up to put my left jean on. I got to pick my left leg up to put my right sock on. Now, that don't make no sense to somebody else that ain't got CP, and they're like, what the heck are you doing? You have to adapt it, and I think this is a great point, too. Dang, we got 10 minutes left on the show. Dang. One more time, sweetheart. I'm sorry.
I find it interesting that I need an adjustable bed.
I thought about that. When I first got it, I was like, this is going to make my life so much easier. And it does to a point. But again, there's a part to an adjustable bed that a lot of people don't think about.
It makes you lazy.
No, I'm not going to say that. Everything wears out. The mattress wears out. The electronics wear out. The motors wear out. And what do you do if the power goes out and that bitch gets stuck in the midair? And I've had that thing happen to where you got to wait, till the power comes back on. And I'm sitting up going, man, I hope I don't have to use the bathroom in the next 45 minutes because if I do, I'm in a lot of trouble. But again, and I'm saying able-bodied people that are able to use all their muscles in the way that they're used to, if they're hit with this, see, that's the thing. CP affects us since birth.
Mm-hmm.
That's not something, CP don't just hit you and you wake up the next morning and you're like, oh, I got CP. Now it can, because you can have an accident and something can happen and, no oxygen to the brain, and you wake up and it's a whole other ball game, but it's different. And I like how Kayla said there's little minute things like people don't think about, like going to pick up a fork and you go to pick it up with two fingers and your whole hand closes because your two fingers decide I'm not going to work today, like or a spasm happens and you knock the junk all the way on the other side of the kitchen floor and you look at the fork like, really?
I've done it.
I just it, and I'll say this. I've only dated one other person with cerebral palsy, but it wasn't the same type of cerebral palsy that I had. So I had to learn the ins and outs of what she was. And just like with Kim, I don't know a lot of people that walk with CP, and it's different. And I'm like,
I have spastic cerebral palsy.
so yeah, so do I. But you're able to walk, which is a whole nother
distance.
But still, you can go 1 foot in front of the other around the house, like I'm like, slow down, and she's like, oh, I don't know the meaning of that. I'm like, if you don't, you're gonna pay for it. And then she slows down and goes, man, I should have slowed down an hour ago. You learn the ins and outs of each other because everything is different. Every case is different. You can put 3 people with the same disability in a room and you can have a conversation like this. I didn't think about those little minute things when what was the other one she said? Talking about it would annoy the crap out of me.
Question 0.
0. Having to go back and say, all right, this is my meal. I got 400 pieces of a chicken nugget. I got to take this one piece of this chicken nugget, eat this, make sure it don't stick up here. Did I swallow this? And it's, but yet how eloquently she can talk about the movements of being able to feel and be on an animal as large as a Clydesdale or a type of horse that she rides or whatever it is, and understand its movement. That's incredible.
I've always wanted to try horseback riding.
Takes me an hour to eat.
Really?
Mm.
I don't deal with change well. I'll say this, the last 5 minutes of this show, we're definitely gonna have Kayla back. Trust me. I did not realize that we were gonna be on question 0 at the end of the show. but I'm glad we were, though, because I thought she was gonna answer the question. We were gonna move to the next one, but it's different. You plan for something to go one way, and you end up talking about things that I haven't talked about in 5 years of the show. I'm going, whoa. This dove into CP kind of like
deep dive into CP.
Yeah, the Scrabble board. You're taking all the letters and you're just pushing them all aside, and you're looking at one small piece at a time. She just said it takes her an hour to eat. We spent 54 minutes and 12 seconds talking about some of the smallest inconsistencies or things that we face, and people are going, I can relate to that. I can relate to that. I can, especially, taking 30 minutes to put a sock on. Who in their right mind is going to work, okay, wearing their business suit without CP? Does it take you 30 minutes to put a sock on? And then you put it on the wrong way and you got to take that sucker off and do it again? Not me. I leave it on the wrong way with the heel up in the air. I ain't worried about it. Man, I love this. This is so
I
cool.
didn't even tell you about my show.
Girl, there's so much you ain't told us yet. I tell you, this girl does it all. Tell us, take this the last little bit of time, and tell me, or tell the world, tell everybody about the show that you have, and kind of how you came up with it. I don't know. She probably got that one pre-programmed in there, but
I am a co-host of a CP show called The Inside Scoop of Living with Cerebral Palsy. It is a talk show on social media with my former speech-language pathologist, Marcy Silver, and a childhood friend of hers named Katrina James, spreading awareness about this common difference. Actually, there's a newly released collaboration book that Katrina and I are 2 of 22 co-authors of, where each story will pull at your heartstrings and leave you feeling equally inspired by its resilience, honesty, and sheer determination. In less than 24 hours, it hit top 2 in Canada and 3 in the US. A shout out to Kyle Scott for this amazing opportunity. I'll comment the Amazon link afterwards.
man, you know, I'm gonna say this, and Kayla hits on things, and when she hits them, my brain goes, dude. I'm right in the middle of. I'm right at the end of writing my book. I started working on it a year ago, and I was like, I'm getting somebody to verbally dictate it. That is also works for a newspaper, and she knows how to format it. But what I love about how she just described it is one of those books that you read, and you're like, oh God, you're just like, I can't even move because it's so good. When a person tells a story that has an awesome story to tell, and we haven't even scratched the surface with it. It's so amazing to even sit here and go, all of this. When she said before we came on the air, we could talk for hours and hours, and I'm going, good, but I've only got an hour show. But this was so informative in how we approached it. That's why I like going off the cuff, because it's different. You have phrases that you have written down, but I love how it can just go in any direction we want it to go. And we spent almost an hour talking about these little nuances of CP and horseback riding, and verbalization and communication and all of these things. It is awesome. This is freaking awesome. I love when a show does this because I don't expect it. And when you have viewers that get on and go, crap, I missed the beginning of the show, I got to go back and watch the replay. Go back and watch the replay. You're going to learn something. How long has your book been out, Kayla? How long have you had your book out now?
It is not mine.
How long has the book been out that you're talking about?
March.
All right. Well, we'll definitely put the link in the comments. You guys, if you, I mean, seriously, can you let us know, Kayla, how we can follow you, either on social media or the easiest way to get in contact? I'm sorry. One more time.
You read my chapter already.
I do. I have it. Yes, I do. Okay. So I just I have to commend this though. I'm going to say because, and I said this at the beginning, just now, for a show to go like this, and I had a whole different plan of how this was going to go. I saw question answer, question answer, question answer, question answer, question answer, done. And I'm so glad it didn't go like that. It it did, but it was it was entirely broken down into little itty bitty breadcrumbs of information. And Charles said this: people with CP are strong people.
Yes, we are.
They are, but we have to be because of.
Exactly, we are.
I mean, it's look at it. Look at the gun on that. Don't be great. Hey, put safety on that thing, girl. But I mean, what makes us strong though is what we have to endure, and it's not the big endurances. A lot of times that'll get us. It's the smaller ones, like and knowing that this happened. I'm so glad that Kayla could be. I'm glad that Kim caught time because I was cooking dinner, not even thinking about it being Wednesday, because I'm just going, 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 and I'm going, shoot. And I said, no, I told Kayla I was going to do it. I pulled up and I'm like, do. But see, I told her I was going to send her the link at 6:45. And I'm like, things happen, but I'm glad we did the show. I'm really glad that this came out this way and it happened this way. And that these nuggets of information that we're talking about
30.
Mhm. You're right, 6:30, not 6:45. My fault. But I'm glad that we were able to get these nuggets out. We're going to schedule Kayla again, and we're going to probably schedule her again and again because there are a lot of the questions, almost all of them, we didn't answer except tell me about yourself, which she did, and that was only in a couple of small sections. So
This
go ahead.
this show turned out amazing, better than what back and forth think. I like her a lot.
I like Kayla because
Inside living with cerebral palsy.
I want and
Exactly.
that I guess that's the way to follow you there too. Because you guys go and check it out because it's good. She's got a lot of good episodes up there. But I want to
I'm
say
going to check it out.
I looked at. I'm even looking at nonverbal differently now because it's you verbalize so well on the way that you do it is it's uncanny. It's like when I'm at a loss for words, I've been a talk show host for a long time, and there are certain times that she will speak, and I'm like, man, I couldn't have said that myself. I mean, that's just and there ain't nothing wrong with that. I like the way she breaks things down. It's just
What should nonverbal be replaced with?
speaking differently. Speaking differently, I think, because if you take the time to listen and understand where the person's coming from,
They're really talking.
yeah, it's exactly took the words right out of my mouth. I
Thinking exactly.
mm-hmm. That's but see, people with CP use their brain differently. I mean, it's because we're forced to. We have to find. I know we're over a little bit, guys, but just deal with it. We have to
That's
use.
going for like another hour
No,
or two.
no, no,
I
no.
like her.
I can't do that. because mm, I'm. We will definitely have one. I'll say this: we have to think differently because we are presented with situations that the everyday world that uses their body the common way is not presented with. And I love the fact that Kayla has brought so much more light to CP and to her story in just a teeny tiny
We
small
don't know
section.
different.
Say it again.
No,
I caught that. I know. I
We
wanted.
don't know different.
we're
I
no different than
no
anybody
no.
else.
We don't know different.
Mhm.
That's exactly right. I I I think I said it at the beginning of the show. Everybody in this world is
Yeah,
dealt.
where to eat.
Say it.
What?
Wait a minute.
Takes me an hour to eat.
Right. I remember you talking about that. We all have different challenges that we face. Whether we face those challenges and we progress. CP is progression. If I look at it from a standpoint, thank you, Miss Wilson. God, I'm so glad she's up here. It is actually progression and steps toward the. If you didn't even label it, you look at a problem that you have steps that you solve the problem with. CP is the same way. Take the CP out of it and look at what the problem is. All right, we have to eat. Okay, eating is not a label, it's a function. We have to do it. We're hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have to go to the bathroom. Step one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. Going to the bathroom is not a label. And I know we're over. I know. 107, big deal. Okay. So stop labeling it and look at it as okay, I'm here. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You've got something that you want to do. Don't even look at it as a problem. Because when you look at it as a problem, you have trouble seeing the solution because sometimes you get bombarded by the word.
That.
I'm sorry, Kayla, go ahead one more time.
And even smaller than that.
Break my karate instructor for years. He said, DJ, you're here. Come back into this. When we see something on the floor, how do we pick it up? All right. Well, you've either got a reacher or you either got someone to pick it up for you, or you're gonna dive down and get it. Well, then you fall out of your chair and you've got another. You've got to look at each thing as it comes and deal with it. Stop labeling it. Does it have to be CP? Can it just be life?
Motor planning.
One more time.
Motor planning.
I think that's a good way to look at it. I like this comment right here. The nonverbal adapt and the nonverbal adapt and make it their strength, just like others adapt in areas that they have problems with. See, that's what I'm talking about. When we look at things as not necessarily obstacles, but okay, I have to do this. In order to progress with my life, I've got to put a shirt on. I'm not going to go out naked every day. I'm going to scare some people. I'm going to put a shirt on. I'm going to put pants on. I'm going to put socks on. I'm going to put shoes on. It may take us time to do it, but when we figure it out, it is powerful. I love the way she wow. Whoo! What a day. Mm, mm, mm. Hold on, I'm gonna let Kayla. She's about to speak here, so I'm gonna let her finish. But while you're doing that, before you actually submit it, Kayla, I want to give you the last couple of minutes to just deliver a closing statement. Whatever your closing statement would be after you get this one out here, what would you say?
Technically, all the jobs I have is communication related.
I get that. I get that. I think if you could speak to your former self, like your younger self, as to where you are now, what would you say to the person that is struggling with, I can't get past this, or how do I get past this? I have CP2 and I'm struggling with this, and this. What do you say to them in your situation? What do you tell them to help them get through it?
Depends on multiple factors.
I knew she was gonna do that.
At least she's straight on.
No, she's so smart though. It does because I'm saying if you were to try to if you were try to, if you were to try to motivate somebody that had been struggling with, let's just make it simple. You know, being around a horse for the first time, and they're intimidated by the animal, and they say, "I have CP. I'm not doing this. I could never. I could never do this." They look at the animal as bigger than them. They look at the challenge as bigger than them. What do you say to them as an individual that's been there, that started at 3 years old and gone up even to now? What do you say to them to motivate them, to help them maybe reach a different level of thinking?
It is all the little stuff.
That's true.
Again, she's mentioned this all throughout the show. I'm gonna say this before I end. If you guys are just coming on now, go back and watch this. We have mentioned this, mentionalized, that's not even a word. We've mentioned this so many times. Break it down to little itty bitty pieces. Break it down to little itty bitty steps and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Don't make it this big. Make it something manageable, and work with it. I'm so glad that I went through with this today, because it was just,
Thank you for everything.
uh, thank you. Don't thank me. I mean, this is, for me, this show right here. This is what this show is about. This right here. This, being able to explain things the way that you've explained them today, makes me happy to be part of a organization or a show like this, just to be part of it, because you've presented CP in a whole nother spectrum that I almost went past. Like,
But you were patient too.
but I had to learn to be. That's because I was very much gotta go, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. CP teaches you to slow down. That's because most people are work and house and home and clean and kids and dinner and bedtime. But I'm like, ooh, flowers. Ooh, that grass is growing. Ooh, doggy. Ooh, clouds. You learn to look at life differently and appreciate life differently when you sit down and are not going back and forth. I think that's in a nutshell. That's where my patience came from, and I need a whole lot more. I'll be the first to tell you, I thought I had patience. Several people have shown me I don't. I could always use a little more. But It was a pleasure having you on the show. This was great. We're probably going to have you on like a ton more times because it's a
I
pleasure.
hope I didn't cut you off too much.
Not at all, sweetheart. You did not. No. This this makes me think about the show in a whole new light because I'm so used to boom, 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 that having to wait for your reply and then hearing your reply, I'm going, damn, I wish I would have thought of that. Like, I don't know. It's just I can't even put it into words. I really can't. It's an honor to have somebody to bring such a great awareness of CP to the show, of dealing with challenges to the show, and being
Even those small sentences.
yeah. I mean, we've talked about art. I would say the theme of there's the drool. The theme of the show is slow down. The theme of the show is break it down. You don't have to go 90 miles an hour to get to ABC. And I think that's a great piece of it. I meant, yeah, an hour and 16 minutes, but worth it. I meant like, whew, this is an eye opener.
I can't go 90.
Me either, and I'm glad. I've said this before, and some people will get it, and some won't. I look at cerebral palsy as a blessing. I really do. The reason I say that is because if I was up walking around, running and doing stuff and using my legs and being so-called normal, I don't think I would be the way I am right now. I don't know for sure, but CP is part of who I am, but it doesn't define me. And that's okay. What a great comment, Miss Wilson. Thank you, Kayla, for showing people there is no limits. You're amazing, Kayla. You really are. It's I should have had you on my show years ago. And
Would we still feel the way we do?
Oh, that's a question. On the show right there. I don't think so. I think I would be totally different. And the only reason I can answer that is because I've been asked that question before. She's becoming the host now, asking me the hard questions. I love it. I love it. Guys, listen. If you want to be a guest on the show, email me, CarterDJ85 at gmail.com. You can also email me. My CP does not define me at yahoo.com. Please, 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 if you haven't had a chance to go back and watch this show, go back and watch it. You'll learn something. I learned a lot today. We're going to have Kayla on again. To use CP is your normal. And when people can get to that, all right, let me say this and I'll end it with this. There is no such thing as normal. There is no we're looking at a labeled word that society has come up with to say this is what a basic class of beings are going to be. But when you throw something different in the mix, it makes it better. And it's okay. Timing is everything. This is a good time for her to be on the show. You're exactly right. I looked at it and I said, Edwina said 100 times, the people that are supposed to be here are going to be here. And I love the way this turned out because I had a whole nother plan for this thing. And that's where it kind of, for lack of better terms, took me off my feet to be a little different and slow down and wait. What is normal? I don't think there is. I think we're all so weird that we just can't. All you have to. I think normal is being yourself. I think that's what normal is. If people can learn to be themselves and accept who they are, I think we would get away from why can't I be normal? If you can be okay with the person that you are and love yourself and start understanding that the problems that you have, it's okay. We're all going to have obstacles that we face. Let's just take this little piece over here and deal with this, and then take this little piece over here and deal with this. And when you get a bunch of little pieces and you look and you go, wait a minute, that's life. That's a puzzle. It's all one gigantic puzzle, and we're trying. You can't force fit the pieces. You can't bang on stupid thing. Go in there. You can't do that.
It's gonna hit me by accident.
And I still use what I pre-programmed.
That's a whole. You know, she pre-programmed most of her answers for all the questions, and we're sitting here talking about it. I love
We
that.
didn't hardly answer any questions.
Yeah, I think that's cool. Just be you. I mean, that's not normal. Just be you. I don't think you again. You when you look at a label, I think you get so uh, um, so focused on what that label is that you that must be the book that you're talking about. Okay. All right, make sure you put it in the comments because I'm gonna get one. Probably be crying by the time I finish reading the daggone thing. But all right, well, I hate to do it, but we're gonna end the show for today. I don't want to. This has been awesome. And you guys, please go back and watch this, share this thing. This is a lot of valuable information. We still have a lot of people on the air with us right now. Hey, Shayna. Guys, I always say, if you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. And this is D to the J with a roll away. I'll tell you what. We will get the information for the book in there. I think quite a few people are going to want it because after hearing what Kayla said today, I know I'm going to go get it, and I'm going to schedule her in again as soon as I can because I feel like you take out the orange and you peel back one little sliver. That's what we got. We got one little sliver. We got a whole nother orange to peel. She said we could talk for hours, and she weren't lying. Wow.
We didn't even get comments.
One more time.
We didn't even get the comments.
Well, actually, we did. I've been reading a lot of them. I just didn't put them up. I have been reading. Yeah. But I mean, it just. This has been awesome. This has been awesome. All right, guys. Well, I always say if you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. We'll be back again next Wednesday for another exciting and not normal episode of My CP Does Not Define Me. So, guys, take it easy. And thank you, Kayla, for being with us. Hang on just 1 second, and I'll be right back with you. Guys, we will see everybody next week. Take care. Thank you, and have a wonderful day. And enjoy the outro. All right, everybody. That's going to do it for this week's episode of My CP Does Not Define Me. As always, you can catch us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, live on the Disability Global Podcast, Facebook Live, and on www.letgoradio.net. Also, if you haven't already checked out our YouTube channel, My CP Does Not Define Me, where we post all of our show's episodes in our My CP playlist. As always, I'm your host, D to the J with the roll away. Be good, be bad, but be good at it. We'll see you next week.